Hey, what's going on, guys? Jake here for another car vlog video, random ramblings video. As you can see, it is nighttime. It is technically it's the morning. It's like 12 a.m. right now. So I mean, it just hit, the morning. But yeah. So it's dark out. Everybody's asleep. I went to go visit my cousin. He was in the hospital, and I think he's doing fine for the most part. But we're hoping that everything's gonna be okay. Definitely gonna say some prayers for him today. So I know I haven't really talked about gaming really a lot yet. So I guess I wanted to just do one rambling video on gaming because I still have a lot of you who really enjoy gaming, and so I know that you guys like the serious stuff. But again, I just ramble what's on my mind. So, and it's 12 a.m. and I'm not particularly tired yet. I'm getting tired, but not quite. So So yeah, so I actually want to tell you guys my opinion about like all the Pokemon games and just do a quick like summary. I could do entire videos on Pokemon, individual Pokemon games. But excuse me, I'm just getting rid of a notification. But yeah, but like I figured, why not do like a summary, cuz that's the thing. I'm always telling my friends what I think about Pokemon games, and I think that this would be a great way to just say, hey guys, if you want like a quick opinion, here it is. So yeah, I'm gonna go from Gen 1 all the way to Gen 7. But we'll see. There could be a part 2 or something like that, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so starting with Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. So I first started Pokemon when I was 3, and it started with Pokemon Red. I was actually at my cousin's house, which is funny. It was actually the cousin that I just went to go see at the hospital. And he's the one who got me into it. And it's funny, I still have his cartridge, and it says, it's Pokemon Yellow, and it says his name on the back. And so I still have it, and it still works and everything. I should check if like his file is on it or anything. But yeah, that was the first one I ever played. I was 3 years old. And then, yeah, I just had such a blast playing it. That, Pokemon Red and Yellow are the ones, and I think even and Blue too. Those are the ones that really got me into Pokemon. I think things that just were done right in Pokemon Yellow is you have this creative idea. You have the ownership of these cute and cool little monsters, and it's just such a awesome idea. And you can have as many as not as many as you want, but you could have a ton, and you can use up to 6, and they learn all these different moves, and there's different types. And I love how there's most people don't really talk about this, but the Pokedex is really interesting. How there's a lot of like there's like life given to them, like like Rattata is like typically steals food from whatever, like or so it's like really it's cool. And I have to say the Gen 1 starters are just so well designed. I mean, I love them all the same. They're just so well done. So sorry, I heard a noise and it's really dark out, so of course that would scare me. So yeah, so I really like Gen 1. I think they just did a lot so well. And to me, it's even just so good even today. Like, I love the 8-bit music, and, the rival is good, and it's cool because it's very manageable to catch all 150. It's not terrible. And what's so cool is they put it on the Virtual Console so you can play on the 3DS, which I have. I have Yellow and I have Red, so really cool. Then you have Gold and Silver and Crystal. I never got Crystal until now, actually, on the 3DS. But Gold. Gold is the first Pokemon game that I really have a lot of memories of. That's the thing. I really don't have... I have, like, one vague memory of me playing Pokemon Red and Yellow, but I have, like, actual memories of me playing Gold and Silver. And man, Pokemon Gold was really good. I mean, you have like vibrant colors, more Pokemon. You have a really long game. What's funny is that when I was younger, I didn't read the text. I didn't know how to read, but I wanted to play. So it's funny. I remember having a level 63 Sunkern, and a level like 53 Nidoking before I ever got to the Elite Four. And that's pretty impressive, especially Sunkern. Like, that's a really low level, that's a really hard Pokemon to use. Sunflora is hard to use, but I didn't know how to evolve it, but you needed a Sunstone, and I didn't know how to get it then. And the internet didn't have all the answers, and I was 4, when I played it. So heck if I knew what to do. So it's funny, I really, and I have to say though, Silver and Gold are really good games with an after game that really holds up. A rival that has a lot of character progression, which I really like. And then they added, some really cool new Pokemon. I think my only problem is there are a lot of those Pokemon that, like, you can't get until the after game, which I'm not a big fan of. So, like, that's why I really like Crystal, how you can get, Phanpy and Teddiursa, like, very early on, whereas in Gold and Silver, you could only get them at, like the last, at the last gym. And that's the thing, though. In that game, you kind of have to grind XP, and that's another thing that I'm not too big a fan of. But again, though, like, the introduction of shinies and I think even IVs came out, or just EVs, I don't know, but it was definitely a really good gen. I feel like Gen 2 is very underrated. I don't hear many people say that Gen 2 is their favorite, but it's really good. Then I got into, elementary school, past, because there's elementary school, and then there's, like, a second elementary school, and then there's middle school and high school. So I got into my second elementary school. I'm forgetting the name. And I kind of felt like it was, like, nerdy to play Pokemon Emerald, or to play Pokemon. But then I saw friends at lunch playing Pokemon Emerald. I was like, oh, wow, this is cool. And I got Pokemon Emerald, and I fell in love with it. I got that and Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, and those games were like, that's when I, like, really fell in love with Pokemon for the most part. Like, those games are just so good. Emerald with its vibrant colors, all these different new Pokemon, along with older Pokemon, really tough, Elite Four and gyms, and, again, another rival with great story progression. I love the introduction of the V-Seeker. It's such a shame that they don't have it anymore, but the V-Seeker is so good. The new Pokemon they had, and the moves and everything, like the animations sounded better. They looked more vibrant. It was really, Gen 3 was my favorite for a really long time. It's a great gen, and so, Pokemon Emerald was really so awesome, and so was Fire Red and Leaf Green. Then around, I believe it was 5th or 6th grade, Pokemon Diamond came out, and so I played Diamond, and I really liked it. I played it with my friend, but then he kind of got out of Pokemon at that time, and he was more into RuneScape, and I was still playing RuneScape, but I was kind of getting out of RuneScape. And so it was also in 6th grade. In middle school, it was very nerdy to play Pokemon. Like, that's when, like, people would make fun of you if you were to play it. It's like, in middle school is such a hard time, and nobody talks about it, and it's terrible. But so I played Pokemon Diamond, but then I felt, oh, this is really nerdy. I should probably stop playing this. And then it was 7th grade that, or even prior, but, like, I found Sugar Conroy, and I was like, well, you know what, if I play the older Pokemon games or whatnot, it shouldn't be a big deal. I found Sugar around, I think it was 5th or 6th grade, but I was like, oh, well, I mean, he likes Pokemon, and he's older than me, so who cares? And it's not like anybody's gonna find out I play Pokemon, so, I kind of refound a love for Pokemon around middle school and played it, like, undercover. But that was around, like, the end of 5th and the beginning of 6th. And so 6th and 7th, I forgot about Pokemon. And 7th is when I got into Modern Warfare 2 and all those Call of Duty games. But then in around 8th grade, I had a friend named Dominic, and I saw him playing what looked like Pokemon to me. And I was like, Don, what is that? And he's like, oh, this is the new Pokemon game. It's Pokemon Black. And it had just come out like that day. And just seeing the moving animations and like it just reminded me, holy crap, I love Pokemon. Why aren't I playing this? And I bought it. And that's why Gen 5 is my favorite gen. It's fast-paced. The story is the best it's ever been. Rivals with great character development. An evil team that actually it like almost makes sense. Like it's like they're very like it doesn't make sense, but like they're radical. So it's like it's just really good. I mean, I can't. And the thing I love about it is people hate this about it, but I love it. It's only new Pokemon on the routes in the first half of the game. And then once you beat the game, there's a long after game, which is another thing they did right. And there's older Pokemon, and that's your chance. But to me, I don't know about you guys, but people enjoy using older Pokemon, and that makes sense. But in my opinion, like, I've used older Pokemon, so many times. So it's like, and I get that people have their favorites. I'm not putting them down for that. But to me, it's like, I only want to use the new Pokemon because I haven't used them yet. So it's like, to me, I could care less about older Pokemon being in a new game. Unless it's like the after game and I want to do competitive. But I mean, other than that, to me, I want to use new Pokemon for the new game. So that's the thing with Black and White, people either hate it or love it. And that's why Black and White 2 is really good too. Because Black and White 2 is it's a complete mix of both. And it's still very similar to Black and White, but I mean, there are a lot of older Pokemon. You have like Growlithe and all these, older Pokemon, Elekid, Magmar, and so Gen 5 is right now, I think, my favorite. It's a tie between Gen 5 and Gen 4, and I'm going to go back to Gen 4 because I didn't talk about it a lot. So, this is going to sound so weird. Diamond and Pearl are my least favorite in the series. That doesn't mean I don't like them. I do like them. But Pokemon Platinum is like right now at a tie for my favorite Pokemon game of all time. Pokemon Platinum fixed Diamond and Pearl. It fixed Diamond and Pearl to exactly what it needed. Platinum has a Battle Frontier. It still has the V-Seeker. It has a very homey feeling. All the towns are very like homey. You feel like comfortable there. Like I like that. Like the towns are very like the music's really well done. It's very peaceful. Like Floaroma Town, the music is so nice. It's like and it's so pretty. I'll never even forget that there's this woman NPC, and you talk to her, and she tells you the story about Floaroma Town, and it was about how apparently like this Floaroma Town was all dead and there were no flowers, and one person planted a flower, and then a Pokemon shaman came in and like produced more, like made sure it would stay alive to produce more flowers. And so they named it Floaroma Town, for its flowers. And like it's just so pretty when you're talking to her and you're listening to this and you hear the music, and I love it. I love the introduction too of like the honey trees. I think that's a really cool thing that's not as like explored. I think that Sun and Moon kind of did it, where they did a lot more things where like Pokemon are coming out from like the reefs, or you can find them in these little caves. Not caves, but like these little, I don't know, like these little nooks. And so I like that Gen 7 explored it a little bit. But yeah, I really like, it's so funny because most people would think, well, if you like Platinum, you like Diamond and Pearl. And I do. But I think Diamond and Pearl are the weakest in the series, in my opinion. And Platinum is one of the best. I mean, again, Diamond and Pearl are so slow, but Platinum is fast. I mean, even more so, Diamond and Pearl, like, it just, like, they have all these introductions for old Pokemon, like, getting evolutions, and yet you can't get those old Pokemon. In Platinum, they fix that. They make it so you can obtain a lot of the Pokemon that were created, and that makes sense. So, in fact, actually, this is my just two of my biggest complaints with Diamond and Pearl. There are only 2 fire types you can get, and that's Ponyta and Chimchar in Diamond and Pearl. Those are the only options you have in fire types. So if you don't like a mixed fire type attacker, that's too bad. In Platinum, you have Magmar, you have Houndour, you have Flareon. I mean, you have options, you know, along with Ponyta and, you know, and Infernape. And that's really good, you know. So that's just one. Also, Diamond and Pearl, there are more fighting types than ice types on like the ice routes. That doesn't make any sense. There's Metacham and Machoke, and there's only one ice type, and it's Snover. In Platinum, they have Swinub, they have Frostlass, you know, Snover, of course, Sneasel. Good job. Platinum fixed what they needed to. That's why I like Platinum. And Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it's a remake of Gen 2. Still so good. Pokemon follow behind you. There's a lot of daily events, and I like that. I like daily events. I think it's fun. You know, they brought back the Safari Zone. That's the other thing. Gen 4, like Platinum and, you know, Diamond and Pearl have a very weak Safari Zone, and Gen 3 kind of did too. But yeah, they really made it up with Heart Gold and Soul Silver having a really good Safari Zone. Then you have Pokemon Black and White. As I've already said, it's my favorite in the series. It's very fast-paced, you know, just really great gen. I like it a lot. I miss the V-Seeker, but there are so many things that overbear it. Like, you have, like, the stadium where you can challenge these people, re-challenge people every day, and they get stronger depending on where you are in the game. They also give you a lot of money. You also can get 2 EXP shares, which was, you know, nice. That wasn't seen before. Again, just, like, really, like, a lot of new Pokemon, very creative Pokemon, a lot of cool new types, Bug, Electric, and, you know, and the list goes on. So I really like that a lot. Then you have Gen 6. So you have X and Y and Oros. I personally, these are actually my second least favorites in the game. I think X and Y just had too many rivals. I think the characters almost look creepy. You know, like, the NPCs, like, they walk in a direction and then they don't blink. And it's kind of creepy. I also, at first, wasn't a big fan of the idea of fairy types or megas. And even still, I really don't like the idea of megas. You know, that's the thing. And at first, I didn't like Gen 4 a lot, but now I do. But, like, with megas, it was just like, well, how did people find out about this kind of stuff? You know, like, why wasn't Mega Charizard found out in Gen 1? And the obvious answer is that, you know, it wasn't thought of in Gen 1. But that's the thing. It doesn't really make sense in terms of the game. So, I mean, but, you know, I get it. It's just a game. But I'm just saying it doesn't make sense, you know, in the game. Like, oh, all of a sudden now we know that there are megas, you know? So it's like, so, and then fairies, same thing. I really don't like that. And I do like the fairy type now, but I still stand that I really hate that they took Pokemon from previous gens and changed them to fairy. Because now what? So a fighting type move would be super effective against a Jigglypuff from gens 1 through 5, and then all of a sudden it gained a fairy type, you know, like secondary type. Like, that doesn't make sense. And it kind of makes you not... like, that's the thing I like about video games. It's supposed to take you into that world and forget about planet Earth. You know, you're supposed to be enveloped, you know, in a game. And with that, to me, it reminds you that you're just playing a game, you know, and people just decided, well, let's do this. So I'm not a big fan of that, but, and I know what you're thinking. Well, how are you a fan of Gen 4 then? Because Gen 4, they added all these new evolutions. The reason I'm a fan of that is because they gave evolutions to Pokemon that needed it. That's why. In my opinion, they give Megas to Pokemon that don't need it. Like, why? And again, I don't know. I understand in lore that fairies beat dragons, and I understand why they did it, because they wanted to give Steel and Poison more effectiveness or more usage or offensive usage. And, they want to give dragons like something to defeat them, but like fairy, I mean, if you pit a dragon against Tinkerbell, who's honestly gonna win? So, and don't tell me she's a pixie. Listen, just be quiet, all right? So, but anyway, I do like the fairy type now, though. I do like the new fairy types that are out, and I've kind of gotten used to some Pokemon becoming fairy types, but like I still kind of just wish they had left the previous gens alone. So I do like, so that's my opinion for X and Y. But I guess good things that I really like, again, they did introduce a lot of new things. They did introduce, all these new 3D animations, which I'm going to be honest, I miss the sprites, actually. If they went back, I would love it. But, and again, they just did a lot of new things, and so I understand. It's also, X and Y has no after game either. You get a ticket to go to one town, and then there's like a battle. I mean, it's like a sad excuse for a battle frontier. It's just like a battle tower, but it's like, I don't know. But they do have they did introduce like the EV training system, and there are some pretty beautiful landscapes. The music is really weak, in my opinion, in X and Y. So then Oros, I like Oros with I love how you can find special Pokemon like egg moves and stuff, and I think that they did a pretty good job. The Z episode is fantastic, but to me, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, they're just too they're too much like X and Y. It doesn't have a Hoenn feel. It feels like Pokemon X and Y again, and I don't like Pokemon X and Y, truthfully. So in fact, I might even say that I like Diamond and Pearl more than X and Y. So that's so that's I had a few problems with Oros, but and then but again, it was pretty good. It was just too much like X and Y for me. And then we have Gen 7. I really liked Gen 7. They made a whole ton of new Pokemon types, that dual types that people have been wanting to see. They made some pretty interesting new designs. There are some designs that I question highly, like an Anchor. I mean, at least it has a cool typing, I guess. But even so, I think it's Grass Ghost. How is an Anchor Grass Ghost? Wouldn't it be Water Ghost? I mean, I get that it has moss on it, but I don't know. My problem with Sun and Moon is that it's very story heavy, and it doesn't let you so much play the game so much. I like a lot of freedom. That's something that people kind of don't realize, but Gen 5, Gen 4, Gen 3, and Gen 2 and Gen 1, there's all a lot of freedom. You'll see your rival every 2 or 3 towns, but you get a break. In this game, you are constantly stopped by cutscenes, and that's kind of annoying, and that's something I think me as an old gen guy, I love a good story, but and that's the thing, Gen 5 has a great story, but they're not stopping you every 2 seconds. Gen 7 really was. Again, though, I really liked the thing they introduced. I love the Pokelagos Island, where you can EV train guys and even level them up to 100 just by giving them these beans that you get from the island. It's really creative, getting stones. That's the thing I love about Pokemon games. I love when it's possible to get stone, evolutionary stones, and it's easy to level up Pokemon. And that is one reason I do love X and Y, is that it's very easy to get Pokemon to level 100. And I like that. And I love the Battle Chateau. That is one thing that X and Y does perfectly. And the battle restaurants. Those are great too. But Gen 7, again, doesn't really have a strong after game. You beat the game, and then there's really not much to do. you know, your rival doesn't really have a lot of story, you know, a lot of character development. He's kind of just all happy. And then I mean, you have Gladion, who actually is a pretty cool character, but you know, I don't know. You know, and again, I love the idea of like Silvally or, you know, type null. I remember it was so funny when Gen 7 came out and we saw type null and people were thinking, is this a new type? But no, the Pokemon's name is type null, which is really not a good name for him. But I love that he was made in a lab, you know, like I find Pokemon that were created like just such an interesting concept. It's like Porygon and, you know, like Mewtwo. I mean, well, not Mewtwo wasn't really, but he had like, I'm pretty sure he had like armor that he used that like enhanced his power or something. But I mean, I think Pokemon that are like made by humans, I just think that stuff is so interesting. So I think Gen 7 was really good, but to me it just didn't sustain. It didn't hold up. Gens 3, 4, and 5, I could play those after games for hours. Like, it's like I almost would never even have to stop. Because, I mean, with Gens 3 and 4, at least, they have, like, a battle frontier. And you can keep breeding to get, like, natures and IVs. And it's just so awesome, you know? And, like, you could literally play forever. But with, like, you know, unfortunately, starting at Gen 5, you know, it doesn't have a true battle frontier. It doesn't have one at all. Only Black and White 2 has, like, a battle tower, which is pretty good. But, you know, then it just kind of, like, went downhill. So anyway, I want to continue talking, but this video is almost 30 minutes. If you guys want, I can do, like, separate videos that are shorter, but go into more detail, because I skipped over. By the way, there are a bunch of things I love about X and Y that I haven't spoken about, and there's a bunch of things I hate about Gen 5 that I haven't spoken about, but the problem is I just don't have the time. So I'm just giving you a quick, you know, I just give you a quick summary of all, you know, my opinions. But anyway, it's 12:30 now, and I'm tired and actually a little hungry, so I'm gonna eat a little something. But yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or what, you know, what are your opinions? Because I love knowing opinions on Pokemon. And again, let me know if you want me to make if you want me to make longer videos, excuse me, like talking about, you know, particular characters, particular towns, soundtracks, particular Pokemon that I enjoy from each gen, because I'm willing to do that. So, and who knows, maybe I'll do it anyway. Anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, take care.